Leave. We are on to the match here. Week 4, first game. TSM versus Cloud9 is underway.
And in this week 4, you can see Cloud9 taking full advantage of the 4.9 patch that we're playing on. Rengar and Braum, both enabled this week. Bam! Right off the bat, Cloud9 always a team to try and adapt quickly as possible, especially in the playoffs of the spring split when the heal patch came in and everyone was doing the Soraka mid lane. Cloud9 was doing that before everyone else and was the best at adapting to that. Here comes Braum and Rengar.
Slowly walking out. We'll see how much Cloud9 feels comfortable with this in the beginning. I'm sure Meteos wants to get a solid jungle start on this. And the rest of the team has a lot formulated. But TSM says, let's try to make this a little harder. Let's get in their hair and see what we can do. Some knowledge of their movement. And they know this is just going to be kind of for the stay and the steal.
Yeah, so I do need to talk about the Braum lane a little bit because, yes, he was seen in the European LCS, but this is the North American LCS. So one thing the teams were able to do against him in the European LCS and was expected is he's a little bit vulnerable to getting shoved in lane early. So if the other team can get a little bit of wave advantage and keep the minions at Braum's turret, he has almost no kill threat because the only way Braum gets aggressive is if he lands a Q on the enemy. And also he doesn't want to engage on a giant minion wave. But in team fights, because of his ability to apply stun passive procs on so many people and also block so much of the damage with his shield, he's an absolute monster once he gets to that phase. So I actually think if Cloud9 can get a 1v2 completely to their advantage because they won't be getting shoved in and it will give Braum an easier early laning phase.
Let's see how the ward control goes down this game as well. Wild Turtle was speaking a lot about that, and the pink ward control is going to be even more in their minds this game with the Rengar and the Twitch pick. Going to the top lane. They're actually waiting for Dyrus to make a move here. Start getting himself some CS.
Well, especially in these 2v0s, they're hoping Dyrus actually starts the wave off hitting creeps because that will allow Cloud9 to deny him. But as long as Cloud9 is getting last hits, the wave should slowly push towards Dyrus. It's just going to be a little while.
Just one hit off from taking some extra stun damage on that. Looks like Meteos and Balls making their way into the jungle, and they may be able to find Dyrus on this, but they split right off the bat. They're going to be pinching him in on this one. It looks like he will be quite safe after seeing Meteos on the side. No, he had full on that one, so it looks like Dyrus going to be hit up. Slice dice. He held first skill that long.
Yeah, but even so, he was just trying to keep tabs on what was going on in the jungle. It did delay them very slightly. He wasn't going to be getting experience anyway. That wasn't a mistake by any means by Dyrus. Just means that TSM knows exactly where the Cloud9 roam would be coming from if they do it.
This also means Amazing is going to be getting some solo experience as he goes around the jungle. Balls not with Meteos is going to be stealing that up, and you can see High already aggressive under the turret, gets that lane pushed up just enough so he can be in and out.
Yeah, dodged every last bit of damage there. Didn't take the turret shot or the wild cards from Bjergsen. He's going to have to be afraid of the Elise pretty shortly, but that's why they have the early ward coverage in the lane. And that's also why Lemon Nation is roaming around on Braum. He's actually hoping to get some type of counter gank.
This is usually their level 2, 3 that they're trying to get. Glebe and Dyrus actually going to answer on this as well. They are perfectly set up. Lemon Nation throws out the cube. It isn't going to be enough. 1, 2, 3 after the other. High throws himself into the fire, but the whole team has come down. Lemon's a tick away, but he stays alive. Turtle's now here, and that's going to be Amazing going down first. Meteos is back and forth. That's going to be his buffs really helping in this fight, but they know they can't help High anymore. It's going to be the quick 1-for-1. First blood to Meteos.
Wow. I mean, we've been talking a lot about how in this 2v0 lane setup, you can have a lot of roamers from either side of the map kind of arrive in mid lane. That's exactly what we saw. TSM had 5 people there. Cloud9 had 4. Which means that the double buffs being transferred to Meteos and the fact that it was a 1-for-1, while Twitch was able to farm freely in the top lane, means Cloud9 comes out ahead on that trade.
Getting some stacks on that bone tooth for himself already. Let's take a look at that again.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like just the bait from Cloud9. It was a sixth sense in Lemon Nation kind of thinking there was something there because they'd been gone from the bottom lane. He checks it a little aggressively, but just barely staying alive, and that gave time for Cloud9 to come down. Meteos did a really nice flash jump out of the brush there, making it so you could still jump out of the brush even after the flash. There's a short delay, and he allowed himself to pick up that quick kill on Rengar.
Good refresh on the buffs. That'll definitely put a hindrance on Amazing's lane pressure as he comes in, but it looks like he's still going to be roaming with Dyrus as they take over the top bottom side of the jungles respectively here in this 2v none. See, Dyrus is now level 2 on that fight. Balls and Dyrus both getting assists on that. So as we're looking a bit at the top laners, both help there for each. The AD carries in our matchup didn't really get anything out of that. Just kind of a walk around for them. Missed some CS.
Well, the kill from Wild Turtle will definitely make up for his missed CS, I think.
I like that past it.
Luckily, picked it up on the backside.
That's
and
right.
Actually, surprisingly, last week we saw a sub 4-minute Dragon in 7 of the 8
That's
games,
true.
which is actually more so what Lemon Nation was checking for when he walked down there, because he was hoping to get a little bit of harassment down onto TSM. You can see if Dyrus is very low, maybe they could have disrupted that. But now that they've swapped up into the top lane, there's no disruption to be had, even though Dyrus is a little bit low.
Very smart play by Team Solo Mid right now, controlling the map as much as they need to here in the early game as they trade 1-for-1 to kill just a bit ago. That's 8.2k for now to the 7.6 of Cloud9. No type of snowball to be had here. The TSM is starting to grab a bit of a lead in that mid lane. Bjergsen is 44 CS to High's 29, so that aggression is not really paying off for him just yet.
Yeah, well, the Twisted Fate range advantage over High definitely has something to say about that. And the ward coverage that TSM has in the Dragon side of River really makes High play a little bit uneasily. So he's just trying to survive.
Something the TSM said they would do is continue to place wards against Cloud9. The pink wards actually have not come out yet, something, or at least for Cloud9 rather, on that side to the Dragon. They're still defending their side instead of trying to move that line forward. It shows how kind of weary they are at TSM's control of the map so far. High doing quite well in the mid lane as he tries to get himself back up in that CS. And this Fizz play is not something we've seen of him yet, so he is still trying to show what the champion pool is in the summer split.
Yeah, but honestly, High, despite Cloud9's struggles, has kind of been impressive with his champion pool and what he's been able to bring out. Playing LeBlanc early on, he had a Twisted Fate game, a Soraka game, a Lulu game. Kha'Zix, his Nidalee, we'd never seen him on before last week, and he landed pretty much every spear. He is showing a fair bit of champion diversity.
It's like some of it is the kind of confidence that the team needs as well. It seems like everybody else has been bringing their play style up just a few notches to follow up with, the, like you said, the Kha'Zix play, the great LeBlanc and Nidalee play that he can bring out.
Yeah. I will say it's very interesting as well how this Cloud9 matchup has kind of evolved over time, with Cloud9 winning pretty much every single one. 15 games, they've won 14 of them.
It's true.
But if we think back to the playoffs of last split, and even the first game from this split, Cloud9 plays very reserved against Team Solo Mid. It's actually like they've kind of swapped places in a sense, because Cloud9 will be content picking a late game composition, farming up their waves, and then kind of waiting for the team fights to come to them, and really relying on their laning ability against TSM, which isn't the way it used to be approached, but it's been working extremely well lately for Cloud9 against TSM.
Definitely a team that they need to stay ahead of, both one game away right now as they match up. Like we said in the beginning, this is usually a game we'd see for first place, but not yet. Not yet at all.
They're fighting for 3rd/4th place, depending on who wins. Actually, despite all of TSM struggles, and Cloud9 has been struggling as well, you look into this match and think, oh yeah, Cloud9 is way better than TSM, is what you're thinking right now, because everyone's just been on the TSM hate train. But I mean, they're 4-4 versus a 5-3 team. If TSM wins this game, they have exactly the same record in the LCS and a 1-1 season record against them. I think the big difference perception-wise is the fact that TSM has lost to every team ahead of them in the standings. Good damage from Turtle. Wow. And beaten every team below them in the standings, whereas Cloud9 has been much more inconsistent. So you tend to give Cloud9 the benefit of the doubt in their inconsistency, and you only remember their victories over COG and their win over LMQ, and you kind of forget about the fact that this Cloud9 team lost to Complexity and EG.
And it's kind of like situations as we just viewed in the bottom lane. Wild Turtle pushing balls out. That's usually a balls 1v1 solo situation where he comes up with a kill.
TF right into Rengar as well.
Bjergsen coming to the top lane. They were trying to catch Cloud9 feeling comfortable, and they got what they wanted. The Lantern so close. The Lantern is taken. Turret bent down. There's the Dragon's descent right into the fight. The crowd control from Bjergsen will be there with the blue buff on the gold cards. Does he have enough time? Draws one out. Pulls the flash from the rest of the team. Bjergsen almost going down. Turns at the last second. There's the fish, High with Chum the Waters, and he comes to clean up on janitor duty. A double kill now on Glebe, and he's going to try to get himself out of a tight situation here. Dyrus and Amazing, both at 5, are still going to have enough without the ulties. Oh my god, there's the ultimate from Pro! What an amazing play from Cloud9 in the end.
What? That was a big, crazy fight. And this was actually Cloud9 collapsing 5 people into the lane before TSM could really spawn. And it could have been a lot worse if it wasn't for some really nice play from TSM.
One more time.
Watch how difficult it is for Cloud9 to get a solid grasp onto TSM. Gleb's plays and amazing stunts just continually kind of kept them back. Right there, the play onto balls couldn't get in. They flashed right at the last second, right as the skill shots were about to land. Another bowler was dodged. Amazing stuns highs is coming in. So much delay, meaning this final engage had to happen under a turret because it was an extended 5v4. Even another play by Glebe to keep high at bay. Yes, that he did eventually get the double kill, but it could have been a lot worse. And now the gold, dead even.
Good call by Bjergsen to run away from the team with the fish on. That was real close to a lot of people. And make the best out of a bad situation there. But like you said, all tied up. Cloud9 absolutely making moves that time. They were definitely playing that lax play, making sure that TSM wouldn't get the upper hand, but felt like they could turn it on for a quick moment there.
And that was the mid-game move that TSM tried to make with the Twisted Fate pick, and it arrived right as the Rengar gank was arriving. So in that case, they did it quite well. But struggling a little bit with the CS on the top lane. But after all is said and done, it's probably going to be about this next dragon fight. Balls needs to charge up his ultimate as quickly as possible on Shyvana, and they need to get some position around that pit. Otherwise, TSM could gain control of it. They're really fighting the board game right now.
And this is really big for Cloud9. You see that High, his first pickup is a needlessly large rod. They are ready to impact any fights that happen right now.
Yeah, he wants his Zhonya's as quickly as possible. That's the build he always goes on Fizz. All the way back to when he played it in the NA playoffs in the summer split of 2013. And actually amazing going up for a gank on balls while the dragon is spawning. Dyrus would have his teleport to come down, but that gives up a lot of vision control around the dragon and might just prompt Cloud9 to rush it down.
Meteo's coming up to help the team, already on 3 stacks, so he's getting some stats out of his Bone Tooth already with that movement speed in and out of combat in the brush. Only going to help him be that much more of the controller for his team.
And they don't even teleport down afterwards. The missed fish by High. I'm really surprised by that TSM move. I think they missed a big opportunity there. They took the first dragon. Obviously, both teams had the timer, but it's kind of on them. When you take a dragon so early, to get the timer and position yourself for the next dragon, you add to the fact that they had the teleport advantage in the top lane as well, with Dyrus having his and balls without his. That was TSM's dragon to lose, and they actually gave it away.
One thing we've seen a lot of this split is shaken confidence that can quickly happen in a game. A wrong initiation, something here or there, and you instantly see second guessing on it. Looks like Cloud9 is definitely really on the first guess right now. Yeah,
that's a problem Cloud9 has been having a little bit. They said they had a little bit of infighting just as they've been losing. They're so used to being the top team in North America. When they start to struggle, that stuff happens. But week to week, they say they are getting better. And TSM, we saw it last week as well, especially in their game against LMQ. Just an indecisiveness and being afraid of making a mistake more than anything else. I think that last dragon was just no one making a decisive call to say, hey, let's go down for the dragon, because they didn't even gank top. They just spent a bunch of time running in between point A to point B.
Waiting for that next objective to come up. Both teams pretty much back into the solos. We see Twitch going down. Sneaky's going to farm up in the bottom lane. Turtle and Glebe at the top. Cloud9 is going to try to open up the middle of the map here with pressure. Bjergsen does not have any help.
It's a push and a counter push right now. Bjergsen does have substantially good wave on Twisted Fate. So it is very hard to push that down, especially when you have a Fizz. It's not exactly a tower sieging composition. Cloud9's team across the board is atrocious at sieging turrets. So that could be a very good way of TSM stalling out this game.
That's one thing TSM was talking about. If you're out of position, TSM will take towers. So if they're in position, they have a real good chance to stop any push Cloud9 would bring to the table. We'll see towards the top lane. Cloud9 is actually forcing TSM away just for now, but it all stays safe, and we may actually have them coming right to mid for a side swipe here.
So I do have to point something a little bit strange out on TSM's side. Amazing has built a Sightstone on a lease. And we might see a fight in the mid lane here just because everyone is there. But I will want to talk about that Sightstone in a little bit because it's a development that I think we might see more of in the 4.9 patch. All right, so
it's really played a big role.
Yeah, one of the big things about the 4.9 patch is the bonus experience on jungle monsters was removed. It was an old experience mechanic that was around in Season 3, so especially between the levels of like 7 and 11, the experience junglers can get is diminished. And I think that makes the fighting power of junglers around level 7 and 9 more important because they're going to be around that experience level for a longer period of time.
Right.
And I also think it's going to lead to slightly more supportive style junglers. Because they're going to be lower level, the vision control they provide for the rest of the team is substantially more important. So Lee Sin would obviously get a side stone, but we might start seeing it on stuff like Elise.
And crazy stuff coming out of High as well. The Deathfire Grasp instantly put together for his first buy.
Didn't go Zanya's. That's very unlike him on Fizz. He's definitely going for the one-shot kill. Meteos is in stealth.
The whole team is ready there.
Missed the bola.
Oh man, TF ball coming in. Ball's a little too deep on that one. He does have the ultimate to get out. Flash is used, so keep himself safe, but it looks like he used saves the ult, I should say.
Wow.
They're gonna fight again. Now this could be that out of position that Cloud9 wants to work with. They don't exactly have the wave where they want it, but they should get some damage here.
Yeah, but if they go to hit this turret, they will be all in on it. So that's actually why High is waiting in the wings with the sweeper, looking for the one shot.
Oh dear, there it is. It's gonna be that extra magic damage coming out, and he is able to trickster over the wall. He's gonna need some help on this one though. They do have him quite locked up. Lemon Nation comes in for a big amount of crowd control, but it's not gonna be enough. 2 for 1 though, quite.
Yeah, a 2 for 1 when pretty much only 2 people of Cloud9 were involved in that. High played that just the way he wanted to. Him and Lemon pushed back pretty much everyone. He got his kills. It cost him his life, but he doesn't necessarily care about that. Cloud9 gets a lot of jungle pressure with that as well.
That's perfect. Taking down Wild Turtle as a kill in the game. I'm gonna start shutting down that power.
Yeah, and this was a really great post
flash to Trickster.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a flash Trickster. You can do that on Fizz. A lot of the European Fizzes were doing that as well.
Wow.
And then Lemon just came in for the help afterwards, adding some crowd control so High could finish off the second target.
Nicely played. It looks like the aggression of High back to normal. 3, 2, and 2 for himself. A little lower in CS, but he is known to not have the highest CS in the mid lane. It's not really his priority. It's getting the team control of the map, and now they're back to help control mid as TSM looks to make their move now to rebuttal that little attack.
Oh, is High thinking about going in a little bit? Because Lemon did have a slow landed, and this is kind of the team fight phase where you'd expect the Braum to come in with a bit more strength. So look for Lemon Nation to make a lot of plays jumping in with the Fizz, and look for Meteos to have a better ultimate next time on Rengar. That was a very lackluster ultimate he had around the Dragon Pit. Most Rengars, if you're looking for the high amount of damage, you go into stealth, you actually activate your Q before you use your leap in, and then you just press your Q a bunch of times. And in between Qs, you use your other abilities. That time, because he didn't want to jump into all of TSM, he tried a long-range bola stun, because it was empowered at the time, to hope for the rest of the initiation. But once it missed, he had just lost all threat.
All right. Keep an eye on Meteos as well as the positioning of Lemon Nation and High in this. A ferocious team composition by Cloud9 really starting to take effect, but the gold's quite even. So TSM is staving off a bit of this power, and they've still been able to drop 2 turrets on either side of the map for both teams. Coming up on 20 minutes, that Dragon is 2 seconds from being back alive. And it looks like we're gonna get a pretty good fight out of it.
Oh, and actually TSM cuts them off, they go!
Flash Flay coming in. It looks like it's gonna be one back and forth. These slice and dice for Dragon's Descent. And nothing really going down for too much damage. They follow down Meteos, gets a bit of heal back. It's going to be a 1v1. Bjergsen gets out the card. Wild cards as well. Enough to take it down with the Q from him. And TSM Bjergsen's auto attacks, but it's only the one on each, not even each side. It's just Meteos. What a chaotic fight.
Great decisiveness right there by Glebe. Whoever was making the call was the right one.
Whoa.
And even jumping up from the fish there, gets High into the fight.
Not a good move by High there. Definitely an error he did not want to make.
Plus the Dragon after all of that. So Cloud9 overreached a little bit, but was mainly because TSM caught them off guard by going in. The reason it was a good initiation here is Balls did not have his ultimate up, and there was no setup for the stealth from Rengar, so they could not get snuck up on, and they were the ones doing the fighting. Look at that. At this point, yeah, so never mind, the Balls ultimate was up, it's just he used it very early on for not much effect. And then Lemon had a very poor Braum shield. He actually faced it away from TSM, so he couldn't block any damage. And High wasn't even in the fight, so it started as a 4v5. They didn't let Meteos get anything off because they used the Twisted Fate ultimate to control his vision. And it was really just TSM catching Cloud9 in between spots again and again.
2,000 gold lead coming in for Team Solo. Mid there is High. Throwing out Chum the Waters on Amazing. Getting instantly repelled on that. The Deathfire Grasp not having too much effect either, but this gives Bjergsen a huge jump now in the ability to make plays. Almost with the Zanya's finished, that means TSM can start to initiate things that they want to do. This also helps Wild Turtle get back in the game. Another kill to him is Cloud9, we just saw, focus him in the jungle solely to stop that.
And I honestly have to touch back to our featured matchup as well right now, because we see Wild Turtle at 8,200 and Sneaky at 6,500. Sneaky has also yet to be involved in a kill or an assist. If you're doing 37% of your team's damage on average, being 0-1-0 is not living up to what your team is expecting of you. So he hasn't been in position, in part because Bjergsen's vision control with the Destiny has kept him in bad places, and also because TSM has been pushing very strongly and decisively as a team.
I also have that tower taking power, Jat. We talked a little bit about it. Cloud9's a little lackluster, and with a very early Deathfire Grasp, it's not going to be a Lich Bane fizz that fast either.
And in addition to not having wave clear, Cloud9 doesn't have any good anti-siege.
Yeah.
You know, they can maybe initiate on you if they get a flank, but as far as clearing waves, as TSM's coming into their turret, they don't have much. So they're really needing to find fights in the map, and TSM hasn't been giving them to them as of yet. He does land the bowl this time, though.
Well, they're going to get the Chum the Waters out. Do not.
Right where they need
on it. Waiting on the Lantern. Very nice from Glebe to always be in the right spot at the right time with those so far. Cloud9's running a 5-man squad. This is not normal that we usually see from them. They're trying to figure out what they want to do right now.
So Cloud9 is a team that has pretty strong initiation here, but no turret sieging potential. So that means the objectives they can control around aren't turrets. It basically means they need to fight around Dragon and Baron. When they were setting up for Dragon the last time, they didn't have the proper vision control that got initiated on. That was really Cloud9's window to try and jump ahead in the game. At this point, it's actually TSM who gets to make all the moves until the next Dragon or Baron is up, because if TSM can ward up properly, they can keep their distance from Cloud9, use their range advantage, and play it safely. It's just a little bit difficult to avoid the flank attacks from Cloud9, which means TSM needs really good wards, which of course is why they have 2 Sightstones. So it's actually really smart by TSM right now.
Perfect that you mentioned the wards. Even the pinks and the greens that sit in TSM's inventory right now, and they're not just being placed willy-nilly. TSM's moving up, knowing when they can control those positions with the pink wards, and then they'll be placed. Very nice control. Just a line right down the river. Nobody's going to get into their side of the jungle without their knowledge.
Yeah, it's so nice. The Sightstone on Elise is a very uncommon purchase, but it makes so much sense in the context of what TSM is playing against in Cloud9, a team that is all about trying to find picks and initiate on you, and nothing about sieging. So TSM knew what the priority was this time, and amazing, made the adaptation.
High still waiting to build up a bit. Wes Bjergsen finishes his 2nd item now, having that Deathfire Grass kind of plateaued him as it didn't work out the way he thought it would. We'll see what TSM has in mind here, Jad. It does not look good for C9. Looks like they'll be able to back off, though. Quickly seen with the minions in mid. It's Cloud9 now clearing out some wards. That 5 seconds it takes to hit a pink ward is very dangerous.
They can't even get it at this point. Balls wasn't near. And they do not want to get another flash play by Glebe, right? That was such a great initiation last time. Also, Wild Turtle's at a very strong item threshold right now. Trinity Force Bloodthirster on Corki. It's probably Corki's strongest point in the game, whereas Sneaky doesn't even have his Phantom Dancer yet. If he did the patented Twitch open up next to the enemy AD carry, he would just die. He wouldn't actually kill Wild Turtle. Wild Turtle will blow him up.
Wild Turtle could definitely show some numbers this game. The lowest amount of kills in the game through an AD carry, 4. That's the highest Wild Turtle's had in a game so far.
Now, this split, he hasn't even had 5 kills in a game. How crazy is that?
Yep. We talked a little about that 1.1 KDA versus Cloud9 last time. That was a 1-4-3 Twitch game. So now he takes that Corki away from Sneaky and shows him what for, even though we had the same teacher.
Teacher was on Braum right now. He needs to do some nice defensive moves the next time TSM initiates on them. But if they keep getting caught out like this...
Oh no, teacher, look out! He's gonna be alright. He's safe.
Nah.
The students help the teacher.
Well, is he actually? Shyvana's not there.
That's Zanya's play. This is what they said they would be available to do. Just throwing out the Destiny makes Cloud9 scatter, and they're not able to control the kill to Lemon Nation.
Cloud9 is out of sorts, and TSM is the team playing together right now.
Yeah.
Meteos used his jump onto a ward that was being TP'd on right there by TSM, and Lemon Nation burns his ultimate for the death, and with the vision control that TSM has around this Baron, with pink wards and all, it just makes the Twisted Fate, Elise, and Thresh picks even more threatening. Cloud9 has lost control of the map.
The game became a lot about vision once all these wards started coming out, so it doesn't hurt to have a global destiny from Twisted Fate. Really putting the pressure on Cloud9. They're not going to be able to respond to a 25-minute dragon take here by Team Solo Mid, already up 5,000 gold in the game and starting to put their foot down.
Yeah, and I don't know if the gold lead is controllable now for Cloud9 because they want to posture around objectives and force TSM to come to them, but they're pretty far behind right now. So they're clearing pink wards. They're trying to do this with Baron. They should probably just start the Baron right now because they know that TSM just took the dragon. Just not the guts to make that call.
Great composition coming in.
That was probably Cloud9's window to get back in the game right now. They didn't have complete vision control because they didn't have enough sweepers to really check. Only watching the replay will they realize what a great opportunity they missed there. But now TSM just getting control back, and it's the pick game all over again.
It's just like all chat. Can we do Nasher? Do we have vision? Do we know if we have vision? Do we have a penny club? Do we have vision? It's almost so chaotic you don't even know when you actually know. 42,000 to sit at 36,000. We'll see if Cloud9 can actually just push through that mentality and get it done for themselves. Good wards coming out. Great sweeper there coming from Lemonation as well. TSM setting to put themselves up in a great just poke spam. You have Wild Turtle, Bjergsen, amazing and Gleave, can get long catches as well, kind of just like the Elise and Morgana. You have the Elise Thresh Hook here. They are ready to work in competition and disengage if they need to.
But we do have to point out that Cloud9, as far as just overall damage and in-team fighting power, the composition is much greater. So if they can keep the goal close and it goes super late, Cloud9 would be great. But they don't have the tools to stall at the moment. They're going for a fight.
Looks like Meteos goes in very hard. They get not even the Lantern out. Meteos still alive, getting himself the heals for High coming in with the kills. Sneaky in the backside. They slowed things down as TSM didn't like the damage they were seeing on the front end of that fight. But now that Iris comes in, High to the backside. He gets flayed out of his Q. Does a bit of the damage, but he's not able to apply the rest. Shots onto balls in the top side. He might go down the last rocket. Just missing the Dragon Tail. The big one missing as well. He uses the Valkyrie and can't get into range. Burnout keeping balls alive.
Even though TSM hasn't finished off balls, that might do it for the game because they just wrecked Cloud9 3-4-0, nearly 4-0 in a team fight. No one in Cloud9 could get into the position they needed to. TSM completely had control over that fight, even though it was in the jungle, which should be Rengar's backyard. And they're too low to end up doing the Baron, but the kills are still good.
It's almost too much gap for the rest of the team to follow up Meteos here.
Yeah, I mean, Meteos went in so deep trying to chase here. He got hooked, played, all that stuff, and then he tried to run away from Tyrus. But he ended up getting chased down, and watch how Sneaky could never get in the proper position to fight. Cloud9 was half in and half out, and when the Twisted Fate ultimate came in, he could never get involved. No one could close on Wild Turtle because it was just the Fizz trying to get in there, and TSM just cleaned up. Zhonya's at the right time, ult's at the right time, and great finishers.
That was a great play by Bjergsen. Came in, gold carded and wild carded the majority of the fight instead of just trying to solo Sneaky. Great mindset by everybody on Team Solo Mid, working together and not just focusing the same target with crowd control, but the damage instead. 47-38 now. It's looking more and more grim for Cloud9. 5 turrets to 3 as TSM starts to open up the map like a Christmas present here, and they're about to find out what's inside quite soon. Not getting to the mid inhib now. Baron's going to be there, and then maybe to the bottom turret if they want.
TSM needs to start baiting around Baron as well, and they know that just now. They pushed out the mid lane, they see Sneaky in the bottom lane. It's not a matter of baiting when they can just take it right off the bat.
Strong play all around. This kind of control, you definitely know TSM is back on the rise in their gameplay. Sneaky doing what he can to kind of counter that gold and stats that TSM just grabbed a hold of. Is 3 of 4 dragons, and the first Baron of the game is in their pocket.
What a turnaround for TSM. I mean, considering how bad they looked last week, they looked completely uncoordinated against LMQ.
A new coach.
They had some of the worst early games. They did win against Curse. But the fact that they lost to every team above them and beaten every team below them, it didn't seem like TSM could go very far. But now the fact that they've only beaten Cloud9 once in 15 tries, and they're looking to beat them very handily here in the second game they played them this summer. It's going to be great for their momentum.
Look around the board at how many teams have grabbed an extra coach or a coach in general. It's almost a momentum push for the team. You get a coach. Dignitas now has 2. It seems like they surged in power. You know, TSM figures, let's grab one of our own. We need kind of an outside look on the end.
And I'm sure we'll get to know a lot more of Loco Doco as the season progresses.
Yeah.
But he is a guy who's had a lot of ups and downs in his career. He's been around since the very start, really, of League Esports. He's played in the OGN Champions Final in Korea.
Yeah.
He's had 2 stints in North America, once playing for CLG, once trying to qualify with a team of Korean players. You know, now he's back coaching TSM, so he has experience. It's just a matter of making it work.
We'll see if his knowledge and power can really give the team what they need. Balls putting on the blue suede shoes for a set. They are dedicating quite a bit to taking him down. They'll get a turret out of it here. But what can they lose out of this? A lot of their crowd control is down, and it looks like they're just too powerful, really, Cloud9 to even give it a second thought. Yeah,
pretty big mistake there by Cloud9. Balls can't be out there trying to defend that turret. They want to get a flank attack, but now they have no Shyvana.
Oh, boy.
Kai's coming in from behind. They might just try and go for it.
Beautiful.
Maybe?
Oh, he got out! Threw it on. He has the Quicksilver Sash for himself. Chum the Waters doesn't do anything here. Bjergsen goes into the Zanyas, and they are still ready to formulate the fight. Already taken down Lemonation. The huge crowd control from the team is down. High is going to try to do what he can now, and I don't think it's going to be enough. Uses the Q to dodge out and kind of do a little bit of a trickster, but it's not going to work. TSM reads it like a book.
Try as Cloud9 might, they're just one step behind. A McHale's and a QSS on Wild Turtle, so good luck.
I was wondering what all those
getting a shark
were.
to stick on that guy. They also had the heal from Wild Turtle that came in at just the right time. They had Zanyas on Bjergsen to keep him safe, and Cloud9's initiation was not together, really. And look at even the health when they start this fight. Cloud9 is lower than TSM is. When you QSS the shark, you don't stop the shark, but you stop him from following you. Then they put the shield on him as well, so Wild Turtle was completely safe. Lemonation tried to frontline, but they had no initiation from Shyvana ultimate, so they could not punish TSM for grouping as well as they wanted to. Sneaky for the first time gets a great Twitch ultimate off, but they're behind so much at the time, it just doesn't matter. And then barely Glebe survives through the Twitch poison because of his shield. So just a series of unfortunate events for Cloud9 in that team fight.
This composition becomes almost impossible for High to hit a fish on. You got a Zanya's, Turtle's going to get his silver, or the Mikhails, and Amazing can just dodge out of it. The other two have the HP to take it. It's becoming harder and harder for Cloud9 here. They went through picks and bans so fast in this one, but did not get the start in the game they wanted.
I mean, they picked themselves into a corner with the team composition. It's not a bad team composition, but it's just when they fall behind, they don't have much to do. There's a jump.
See what can happen here. There's the 1-2, a 3 possibly coming in. There's the Zanya's denying that. Can he get over the wall? He does, but the Glebe is there! The rest of the team is there! Oh my god, Bjergsen stays alive! 41 seconds on Meteos, 45 seconds on High. They are running amok right now, and TSM's gonna be looking for the Nexus soon.
Bjergsen does have 2 Void Staffs, and I think that's one of the reasons that play was so aggressive for him right there. No need to have the 2 Void Staffs, but he at least, he's keeping them. He's fully committed right now, doesn't want to lose the AP.
I like it.
Still, the Zanya's baiting into everything else is great, and you can see the gold difference over time in this game is just trending upwards and upwards. It was close until the team fight started going for TSM. Ever since, they got the vision control from the Elise and the nice initiations from Glebe.
Cloud9 really not being able to stay on par with that gold increase. And it looks like a few more kills. Shuts down Meteos and High. Very vocal players for the team as well. Hopefully Cloud9 keeping their heads in this one. TSM's looking to close out the game quite soon. They have everything they need to continue diving on these turrets. And Wild Turtle on the backside.
No wave clear from Cloud9. They might just have to fight right now.
So one. Cleaved onto the Dragon. The set with the flay, very nice. Ball's trying to do what he can from the back line. Dyrus level 16 with dominance on in the front. Sneaky gets a kill that he needs. Bjergsen sidestepping back and forth. No Zanya's for that, but it hardly even did damage to him from the Chum the Waters. It's a turnaround somehow now. Cloud9 is getting shredded. There's the 1, there's the 2. A triple kill coming in for Wild Turtle as he throws on the shell. And the first pick, Corky, comes up huge.
Triple kill right there from Wild Turtle, and it was the peel of TSM. They moved back as a unit as Cloud9 tried once and again, dive and dive and dive, and they just couldn't make it to the targets they needed to. Now, they're trying to kill the Nexus.
Turret's going down. That's 1 Nexus turret. Not even gonna have time to get back to the Baron because they don't need it. Team Solo Mid trying to come out big on this one. Focusing completely on the turret. That's gonna have to be a gold card from Bjergsen. Oh, he gets the Flame Breath, and they're gonna have to be getting out on this one. We said it before, Wild Turtle only got the 4 kills before.
Real fast right now, and invisible.
Uh-oh! There's a repel. Phosphorus comes out for more vision. That's very nice.
You could see how scared Meteos was of Wild Turtle right there. Just so much damage from Corki. He could not wait around for the repel. We got to take another look at this fight, though. And the play on the Shyvana ultimate was just right. Doesn't even get close for the damage. And that may well have decided a large portion of this fight, because if we look at the open that Sneaky had, it was rather impressive, as there was a Flaming Dragon in there throughout that. Wild Turtle may have been a lot lower. The Shark onto Bjergsen may have done a lot more work, and the turn would not have been possible. But as it was, teleporting right next to Sneaky and getting that stun is what allowed Wild Turtle to be so aggressive. So they had to do that as a unit in order for it to work.
Turtle back to his roots on this one.
10-1-5. Yeah. So much for not getting 5 kills or more in a game.
Looked like he changed that one. We can say this KDA is definitely better than his first game against Cloud9 at the 1.1.
Oh, Amazing would have seen
that's not yours.
During that repel. He's in a bit of a pickle.
Uh-oh.
One would say.
Uh-oh. There's one.
Where's he gonna go?
He has to do a lot here.
He's gonna Zhonya's? Yeah.
That was
nice.
nice.
Jump back over the wall.
Oh, wow. He's not even ready to put out damage himself.
Yeah, there wasn't much he could do with 5 people chasing him, and the amount of crowd control TSM has. Now with no Nexus turrets, this is looking like Game Rift.
Yeah, just in the middle, Bjergsen is 5,000 gold over high by himself. There's quite a discrepancy here between these players across the board in our featured matchup.
Oh, no!
Wild Turtle versus Sneaky.
He walked right past the pink board while trying to get an open.
Wild Turtle versus Sneaky, and that's Wild Turtle, to say the least. There's another kill for Turtle coming in. 13-1-5 on the first pick, priority Corki pick, as the rest of the team goes for the Nexus. A 36-minute game as TSM takes down Cloud9 convincingly.
And most importantly, they tie them in the standings.
Yes, they do.
So TSM always sees Cloud9 as their biggest rival here because they've won the last 2 splits and destroyed them in the playoffs. But that win is so important for TSM's confidence.
That congratulatory hug as well looked like the old team solo mid.